Hello everybody and welcome back to another online Chinese history class with me, Tony. In the last class we talked about the fact that if the warring states kings wanted their kingdom to grow, they would need a better counselor, otherwise known as a court advisor. The kingdom of Wei first hired Li Kui, a legalist who wrote a law book detailing punishments, and Wu Qi, who was really known for being an amazing military strategist and leader who treated himself like a normal, ordinary soldier. After the two advisors left, a person by the name of Gongsun was suggested. He was a guy who was said to be so powerful that if you didn't hire him, then you would need to kill him to prevent him from falling into enemy hands. However, the kingdom of Wei didn't do anything about it, so the kingdom of Qin got Gongsun Yang's help. When Gongsun Yang was enlisted, he made strict rules. So from this you can clearly see a common theme, right? A common theme between the court advisors, the counselors, and that's they all enforce strict and harsh rules that often are seen controversial by many people. However, such strict rules in the counselor and king's eyes were necessary for the kingdom's development. So they really don't care about the controversy, because the kingdom's development was what was most important to them. And also, this technique was working pretty well, actually, with the past two counselors of the Kingdom of Wei doing an amazing well for the Wei Kingdom's prosperity, almost making it the most powerful of the warring states. However, the Kingdom of Wei had made a terrible blunder, and that was not acquiring Gongsun Yang's help and instead letting him fall into enemies' hands. The Qin Kingdom took advantage, and Gongsun Yang helped them. So, he set rules like these. If a person had committed a crime, their neighbors had to be observed and not ignored at all. This way, the neighbors would be extremely vigilant of crimes in their vicinity because they do not to be punished or put under watch for another person's crime. Those who hide away criminals shall receive the same amount of punishment the criminal is receiving. With less criminals hidden, it will be easier to catch criminals, which means criminal activity would plummet. Those who are too playful and don't contribute would be immediately put into slavery, regardless if they're of royal birth or nobles or not. This way, everybody would try their hardest to improve the kingdom and make it prosper. Of course, the plan didn't succeed perfectly. There were many who were displeased with this system and rebelled against it. There were also a lot of people who just didn't even fight against it. They just ignored it because they did not think Gongsun Yang would keep his word or keep this law upheld for a long time. They didn't trust him. So what do you think Gongsun Yang did in this position? A. When a person committed a crime in ignorance of the rules, he upheld them and put the neighbors under watch. The word spread and people trusted in his word. B. He conducted a social experiment that seemed crazy at first to gain people's trust and show them that he keeps his word and that he will hold these laws up. C. Many nobles who were of royal birth slacked off and didn't do anything productive for the kingdom. They didn't help it at all. So they were made into slaves, and now people know that he keeps his word. D. A person decided to hide away a murderer and was found. They were both sentenced to death, and people knew that the laws were really in place, and Gongsun Yang's word was absolute, and that he would hold up these laws. I'll give you some time to think and answer. The correct answer was B. Gongsun Yang conducted what was basically a social experiment. Since people didn't trust him, he had to remove that doubt of trust in them. He had to prove that his word is absolute and that people should trust in his direction that he leads of the Qin Kingdom's future. He announced to everyone that in the south main gate there was a large wood log. Whoever carried it to the north main gate would receive roughly half a kilogram of gold. Everyone talked about this and thought Gongsun Yang was crazy. If someone was physically fit, they could easily carry it and get a super large amount of money. There wasn't even any time limit or anything. But despite that, no one tried it because they thought that they would not get the promised reward. Just seemed too out of the ordinary, too out of the world for them. Seeing this, Gongsun Yang raised the reward to 2.5 kilograms of gold. It was absolutely insanity at this point. The effort spent could not compare to this at all. The chance that the people got was literally like winning a lottery, but nobody actually attempted it. Nobody got the money out of the lottery. They abandoned it, except for one foolish young man. He didn't think much about it and tried to simply carry the log just because, you know, he didn't worry about the prize not being given or anything. He just carried it because he wanted to see if Gongsun Yang would give him the gold or not. And if he didn't, well, he doesn't really care. And no one would have thought that the young man actually would receive the ludicrous amount of gold. The entire kingdom of Qin knew that Gongsun Yang was absolutely serious with this. Sometime after this, the Prince of Qin went against the law. Gongsun Yang punished his mentors for this because they were tasked with supervising and teaching the prince of the laws and everything. One mentor lost his nose. It was cut right off. And the other had a Chinese character, carved into his face. It was very bloody and gruesome. But nobody underestimated Gongsun Yang after that. After a decade and a few years, the kingdom of Qin had significant improvement in its affairs regarding laws. There were no murder, theft, and not even something petty like picking up money or a couple of coins someone accidentally dropped on the road. Nobody would do this. Everybody would follow the law. So the kingdom of Qin prospered thanks to Gongsun Yang. And now the kingdom of Qin just had to wait until it was their time to rise out of the darkness and strike. That's going to be it for today. See you next time.